This month, we're going to talk about beginning balances. One of the questions I get a lot of the time is, how do you roll into the new year and get your beginning balances? Right here, you have your input edit year, and you can change this to whatever you want. So if you were in year 21 and you wanted to go to year 22, you would up this to 22, highlight the farm you want to go into, and click OK. The first time going into the farm, it's going to ask you that, or bring up this message up that said these data files do not exist. Data files exist for a previous year, but not for current year. What that is saying is it found data in 2021, but we have not created these files yet for 2022. So it has not done the create beginning balance routine yet for 2022. That's all this message is saying. So we click on yes, we do want to create beginning balances. We do want to roll that over. You do want to make sure that all boxes are checked for the modules you have and have data for. This data set only has accounting, so I'm just going to check the accounting box. It will pop up this message and just says it's going to recreate beginning balances and override anything that is there. And that is what we want it to do. We want it to recreate our beginning balances. That means it overrides anything that could have been there and replaces them with the new values. It's a very quick process, and it'll open up the program when you come here. When we say beginning balances, what we mean is if there is any balance in a asset, liability, or equity account, so balance sheet accounts, those keep their balances. They roll over from year to year, unlike your income and expense. So those balances need to have an entry bringing those numbers from the previous year into the current year. You will have a beginning balance entry for every ledger, center, division combination you may have used in the previous year. There's not much in this account. We can see we have a bank account here with center 1, division 0, and then we have $1 amount here. So we only have one beginning balance. It is dated, if I can make the screen smaller. On 1/1 of the year, it has a vendor name of beginning balance. If I had more ledger accounts, more assets, liabilities, equity accounts, we could have several different beginning balance entries. You are able to open up this entry just like anything else by right-clicking on it. And it's going to bring up the entry for you. You could edit this, but I do not recommend ever editing these entries, because if you ever roll over again, recreate beginning balances, it's going to overwrite this entry with a new one. So any changes you've made is going to be lost. So I do not recommend ever editing this entry. You can, if you need to make changes, so say, this was an old balance I had carried over from year to year to year. You don't want to go back in history and fix this entry or fix what caused the issue with this beginning balance. You just want to start fresh in 2022. You can always do a journal entry to clean these up. And a journal entry, again, is a two-sided entry, and it needs to be balanced when it saves. So if we were going to clear this up, say, this was old, I used in this data set, 10 years ago, never did much with it. I want to come back to it, but this bank balance is 10 years old, and I just want to clean it up. We can definitely do that with a journal entry. I'm just trying to get my screens here so you can see them all. So what I would do is if I'm going to do this, I am going to do it on January 2nd. So there's no confusion. I'm going to call it cleanup. And you're going to go to the ledger account. In this case, it is 10,100. And it's center 01 and it's division 0. And I want to zero this out. So I'm going to put in a positive 3128.69. And it has to be two-sided. So I do have to offset this entry with something. Otherwise, it will not be balanced, because we can see right now our amount to balance is in red. It's not a 0. So I do have to have another line. I like to use retained earnings, which is, this one is RE, a retained earnings operations. And you can put it in whatever center division you want. And it's going to automatically offset it to balance out that entry. And I use retained earnings because that's where all your income and expense from previous years roll into. And it's kind of just like your wash account. So I do choose that account. So I'm going to save this entry. And now if we would run this report I have to run it now for January 1st and 2nd because I did create that journal entry on the 2nd. That balance will be gone when we run this report. Okay, so here we have the original beginning balance and we have my cleanup entries. So we no longer have anything in this 1 to 10,100 account. I can verify that because if I go to recap my ledger, the only account that has anything in it is that retained earnings account that I used as my offset, and that is fine. Okay. The other question I have is if you're in 22 and you need to go back and change something in 21, can you do that? Absolutely. To do that, you go to File, Change Company, go to the year 21, come in here, make your changes, go back to File, Change Company, 22, and then go to Utilities, Create Beginning Balances. The screen does look different. We did take over the multi-year rollover option here, so you no longer see those years at the bottom. You do check the box for what you need to roll over. In this case, we only have accounting. You click OK, and then we have the same messages we had at the very beginning. We just click OK, and it recreates those beginning balances to reflect those changes you made in the previous year. Hope that helps you understand beginning balances. If you have any questions, always contact support. Thank you.